So Ken, can you explain what this reduction in these like duck hunting drawings, what that would have done?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the DNR said based on the budget that they no longer would be able to hire people to put into place to monitor the draws. When duck hunters go to these areas, they have to check in. And of course, there's only so many allowed out at the time, and you have to be chosen in order to go out. Well, the DNR said they were not going to have part-time people that can go out and do that anymore. So that was a big deal. Deer, or I should say duck hunting, obviously is very popular around the state, especially in southeast Michigan.
So when they say these duck hunting drawings, what is exactly the operation like? Because I think when people hear that, the question might be, so why are so many people needed to pull a name out of a hat? Is it more involved than that?
It's not that they need a lot of people. They just have several locations that they need to have somebody there to take care of things. Like you said, I haven't visited and watched exactly how the draw works. I don't think it's picking a name out of a hat. It might be bringing something up on a laptop. I'm not sure how it is, but I do need one person there to keep it organized and make sure, obviously, there's not a flood of people trying to access the area at the same time.
And so the DNR is hiring 8 seasonal workers to manage the drawings, and they're going to be paid by the Greenway Conservation Club. How is that going to work? I'm assuming employed by the government, but paid by a non-government entity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Kyle Green at Greenway, Conservation there reached out to me. And, he realized what the problem was. The DNR was saying they didn't have the funds to hire people. They had people that were willing to do it. They just didn't have the funding to hire them. So Kyle reached out to me and said, hey, listen, I've got a number of groups that would love to donate money to pay the salary of these folks. And at first, the DNR, they didn't know how they could do it. They didn't know how they could take that money and do anything. But I brought everybody together. We sat down. We had a conversation. It wasn't going to be a matter of if we could do this, but how we can do this. And they actually were able to find through their financial people that they had an account that was able to accept donations. And that there was a cap on it, but there was still plenty of room in the cap to receive more donations, and then that money could be used to hire part-time people. So it worked out pretty good.
I want to address another topic that happened just a couple of days ago. Kind of really smooth way to transition into it. A tragedy struck last Friday in your district, a shooting spree that claimed the lives of 5 victims and left a young girl injured. Before I ask a more specific question, I just kind of want to get your overall reaction to that news.
Yeah, obviously, the news was just horrifying. When I heard it, I was shocked. That's something that we're certainly not used to in rural northern Michigan. Hopefully, it's not something we ever have to get used to. But I was saddened. Immediately went into prayer and basically just waited to hear more from the state police. They were very good about getting in touch with me and keeping me posted on what was going on.
So we've kind of heard this, I guess a term or a phrase, soft on crime prosecution in reference to downstate situations or things that have happened across the country, very high-profile cases. It's rare. I mean, you kind of mentioned it's kind of rare that we see something like this just happen in northern Michigan at all. And rarely do we kind of take a look in the mirror in possible soft on crime prosecution. So in 2024, the suspect, Chad Hickman, was charged with multiple felonies, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder by strangulation, 2 counts of first-degree sexual conduct. Those were dropped as part of a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to 4th-degree child abuse and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and spent a single year in jail. I mean, of course, those charges fairly serious too, but did not carry the kind of jail time that the other ones that were dropped would. Ken, I'm not asking, one man, one lawmaker, how to solve such a widespread issue, but I do want to ask, is it time to have a conversation about rebalancing, protecting the public, less plea deals, longer prison sentences, and then that chance of rehabilitation?
Yeah, Nick, you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree with you more. The warning signs were there. They were very clear, based on his interactions with others and obviously the things that you just listed that he was actually convicted of. But there was so much information out there, and it was very clear that this is somebody that was a danger to himself, was a danger to the public, and, somebody that needed to, either spend some more time behind bars or seek some serious mental health help.
Final question for you. The House is scheduled to get back to session next Tuesday. Anything notable that we can expect to be worked on next week, or are things kind of in a little bit of a lull as the general election nears?
Yeah, no, actually, I can tell you what I'm going to be working on. My focus, my priorities, obviously, as you know, I chair the DNR's budget committee. So I kind of look at all things DNR. And one of the things I'm working on right now, there's an issue that I was able to get funding for with cormorants. The overpopulation, you'll see them if you go to Mackinac Island. They're very prevalent downstate, and they consume a tremendous amount of fish every day. And right now they're protected by the U.S. government, so they can't be hunted. But the DNR, there was kind of a loophole, so I was able to give them some funding where they go and they spray oil on eggs, and it stops the eggs from hatching. And that's kind of a Band-Aid situation. So I'm going to be working, with the federal government, Department of the Interior. There is actually a bill that a U.S. Rep, Tim Walberg from Michigan, has got in place. It hasn't gotten a lot of traction right now, so I'm going to find out what I can do to help him to get that moving. And again, Kyle Green from Greenway Conservation is also going to be involved in this. He did such a great job of helping me, with the issue with the ducks. So now we're going to step that up and find out if we can get these cormorants under control. I know hunters would love to hunt them, and I know fishers, including the DNR, would be very happy if we limited their population, start eating, so many of the very popular game fish that have been planted.
We are speaking with State Representative Ken Borton. Ken, thank you as always for the time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Nick. It's always a joy to talk with you.